Donald Trump today signed a series of 4 executive orders aimed at breathing new life into the coal industry, a sector widely recognized as the most polluting among fossil fuels and a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions. Despite its long-term decline, coal is now being positioned by the disgraced president as central to America's energy future. Environmental advocates criticize Trump for clinging to outdated energy sources and pushing policies that would increase costs for consumers while promoting yesterday's energy. They argued that his administration is ignoring the global shift towards cleaner, more affordable alternatives because the climate crisis is buckling under the strain of our carbon emissions from fossil fuel use, like coal.
I'm very honored to be doing this. The countries went to beautiful, clean coal, and they've stayed there for many years, like China. China's opening 2 plants every week. Germany went green, very green. They went so green they almost went out of business. Germany was finished. They went to wind. The wind wasn't blowing too much. And they went to all sorts of other things. You know, the Green New Scam hit Germany too. And guess what? Now they're back to coal. They're opening up coal plants all over Germany. We're the ones that aren't doing it.
Trump used his emergency powers to authorize the continued operation of aging coal-fired power plants that had been slated for retirement. According to the White House, the move is a response to growing electricity demand driven by the rapid expansion of AI technology, electric vehicles, and data centers. A convenient excuse to shift the blame onto those who are seeking to modernize our energy sources. Speaking at a White House event flanked by coal miners wearing hard hats, Trump announced his plan to dismantle what he described as burdensome regulations that had unfairly targeted beautiful, clean coal. He pledged to fast-track leasing for coal extraction on federal land, streamline permitting processes, eliminate government bias against the coal sector, and invoke the Defense Production Act to ramp up domestic coal production. Quite literally the opposite of everything that the US should be doing. The opposite of what all other developed nations are doing. He's literally investing in the very thing that is going to cause the extinction of our planet.
I call it beautiful, clean coal. I told my people never use the word coal unless you put beautiful, clean before it. Right, Doc?
The first executive order calls on all federal agencies to eliminate policies deemed discriminatory towards the coal industry, which is surprising considering that coal is black. This includes ending the existing moratorium on coal leasing on federal land and accelerating approvals for coal-related projects. The second order halts what it labels as unscientific and unrealistic environmental policies introduced during the Biden administration, particularly those aimed at phasing out coal power, a proven move that is in use and underway in most other countries except the United States of America.
On my first day in office, I terminated the Green New Scam. I declared the national energy emergency and withdrew from the unfair, one-sided, and extremely costly to the United States only Paris Climate Accord.
The third order emphasizes grid security and reliability, asserting that future energy strategies should focus on consistent power generation rather than climate-focused policies that the administration referred to as woke and biased against fossil fuels. Again, more insanity designed to enrich the energy industry, who, let's face it, knew about deadly climate change since the 1950s and actually paid for propaganda to deny it. The fourth executive order instructs the Department of Justice to investigate state-level climate policies that, in the Trump regime's view, unlawfully restrict coal use. By the way, the G7 group of nations agreed to phase out the use of unabated coal power plants by 2035. Trump's strategy marks a pivot from President Joe Biden's climate agenda. In 2023, Biden implemented rules mandating significant reductions in carbon emissions from coal-fired plants, regulations that many experts believed could mark the final phase of coal's presence in the U.S. energy mix. The coal industry, which once dominated power generation, has been steadily losing ground to cheaper methane gas and renewable sources like wind and solar that don't destroy the planet. Last month, Trump's EPA initiated efforts to weaken or roll back numerous pollution regulations, including those designed to curb the number of coal plants operating across the country. His executive actions also direct the Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum, to formally end the Obama-era coal leasing pause and instruct agencies to eliminate policies intended to shift the nation away from coal. In addition, they promote coal technology development and encourage coal exports because they'll all be dead when the shit really hits the fan. It is so selfish, so short-termist, and so naive. Throughout his political career, Trump has argued that coal can play a critical role in meeting rising energy needs, especially from expanding industrial operations and data infrastructure. He didn't actually say that. That would be too much for him.
And we'll use some of those people, some of those great firms. They are great firms, too. They just had a bad moment. But we're going to use some of those firms to work with you on your leasing and your other things, and they'll do a great job. I think they're going to do a fantastic job.
In a speech to the World Economic Forum in Davos earlier this year, he said nothing can destroy coal, not the weather, not a bomb. And we have more coal than anyone else. Like you, nobody knew what he was talking about. Renewables continue to gain market share regardless of who occupies the White House. A report from the Department of Energy projects that 93% of new power capacity added to the U.S. grid this year will come from solar, wind, and battery storage. And why not? Research has revealed that nearly all existing U.S. coal plants are more expensive to operate than replacing them outright with renewable alternatives. This report from Energy Innovation concluded that 99% of the nation's coal fleet is economically obsolete in the face of cheaper, cleaner energy sources. Australia is the first country globally to have a carbon-neutral standard at the national level. The U.S. would do well to follow suit.
We have clean air, we have clean water, and now we have clean coal. And at the same time, we're going to do other things and with other forms of technology and also energy.
Sadly, under this archaic regime, wind turbines are woke and solar is for girls. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.